rooms or whatever there may be without impeding on the lady's space.
I'm just asking you from a moral standpoint, Mr. Nichols, do you think that you have any moral obligation to assist them if they in fact paid off the lease fee?
You know what?
Tell me why.
I was told that because I had to leave, that they would take care of it.
Who told you that?
Robert did.
Tell me what he said.
He said that you have reasons that you need to leave, and we'll take care of everything else. And I took that as goodbye.
When was the last time you saw Mr. Brett?
January 2012, when I moved out.
Have you been in trouble since, by the way?
Not really.
What does that not really mean?
No, ma'am, I haven't been in trouble. Not at all.
Not at all would be okay.
Yeah.
Not really is not so okay.
Well, I mean, I got in trouble with my dad, but that doesn't really...
No, that,
Yeah.
well, that could be big trouble.
Could be.
All right. Mr. Brett, I'm sorry, I can't help you. You have to come with evidence. You don't have it.
Do have.
You don't have it. Sorry.
We have evidence, but the lease, we weren't able
You
to
don't
get a hold
have
of it.
the evidence. I can't help you. I don't manufacture evidence. All you have is a paid bill.
Yes, from the credit collections company
That says
that we had
that
to
it was
pay
to
that
the
in
apartment
full.
community.
Yes, and we just had a baby, and we really need to have this money back.
Then you have to bring evidence,
Yeah,
which you
ma'am.
don't have. And you're not following me anyway, Mrs. Brett. You have to pay attention.
Judge Judy continued.
Time that you left the apartment, which was in what month?
We left in March.
So you stayed there.
We had to pay.
Just a second. He left in January, so he didn't pay January, February for 2 months. March, you left. When you left in March, if you remember, how much was left on the lease?
4 months.
4 months.
Yes, ma'am.
When you left that apartment, where did you go?
We went to a new apartment,
And what was the rent in the new apartment that you went to?
about $700.
Not about. How much was the rent in the new apartment?
$679.
Great. So for an extra $400 for 4 months, or $1,600, you could have stayed in that apartment, even if you chose not to try to get somebody to come in and relieve the debt burden created by the lack of a roommate. You chose not to do that. But if you spent $1,600, you would have been able to stay out the lease. Whatever limited security deposit you put in, you wouldn't have lost because you lost your security deposit, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, your security deposit is usually a month's rent. You say it was very small, but it's usually a month's rent, so it could have been as little as 3 months that you would have had to pay. And then you wouldn't have been backed up. You chose to move out.
Well, we agreed to pay the 2 months in between him having to leave, but when I remember speaking to him, I felt like you're the one who has to leave, and we aren't able to take the burden of this full rent on our own.
That's
And
why you put an ad in Craigslist and said, I need a lovely roommate for 4 months, and I'm willing to give you a bargain. All you have to do is pay me $300 a month for the next 4 months, and you have a room and a video room. And you chose not to do that. I can't help you. That's all.
Apologize to you. You may step out.
My place is...
Judge Judy.
Well, I just didn't have the money myself to pay everything.
I'm sorry. I really am.
And it sat on my credit report for an extended amount of time.
I wish it had gone differently, but it didn't.
With other bills that haven't been able to been paid on time.
What friendship?
Non-existent at the moment.
Hurts me on the inside. It really does.
I hope that we can move on.
Always bring a lease to a court case.